Hello Pips. Right, this is going to be the start of a special video on a build series, build series, that doesn't make sense, does it? On the build story series. This is the first one I had done, and had done. All will come apparent in a minute. So in this video you're going to see 4 plus 1, very special trucks to me, lorries, very special lorries, starting with a Ford D cab. On every one of these 4 plus the last one, I'm going to leave one till last. So 4 of them are a collaboration, if you like. A gentleman, very nice gentleman called Michael Crooks, built the cabs all by hand, all out of styrene. Very, very skilled person. Wish I had a fraction of his skills. Very, very skillful, very sadly no longer with us. And this was the first one. I wanted to build something I wanted to build something that my dad used to drive, just as something for keepsake, if you like. And although he never drove this permanently, he worked for this company. He worked for Rail Express Parcels out of King's Cross, London, and they was part of the railway. So obviously all the parcels used to come into King's Cross overnight. They used to go onto their vans, lorries, whatever, and then be delivered. He mostly drove a comma walkthrough, I think they're called, or it was also a Dodge walkthrough. I think it was exactly the same van, just depends where you bought it. But occasionally he would drive one of these, kind of both if you liked. And then a few years ago, I'm saying a few years ago, it's probably more like 6 or 7 years ago now, I managed to find a little model 176 Scow or something, which I've just been hunting for and can't bloody find, sod's law, of this truck. And I thought I would love to make one, but I know where have I got the skill to make that cab. And talking to someone else, he put me in touch with Michael Crooks, who said he's never made one. He specialises in AEC stroke Leyland cabs, AEC stroke Leyland cabs, but he would have a go at making a Ford cab. So we agreed a price. I agreed the speaking of price, the actual man I had a chat with in the first place was Gareth Price, who used to supply a lot of Tamiya parts. I don't think he does it anymore. I ain't heard from him or seen anything of him for quite a while now, but he put me in touch with Michael Crooks. So I ordered the stuff that he needed through Gareth Price, who delivered it straight to him, and this was the outcome. So he sold me a 1850 chassis, which that is a bulk standard 1850 chassis. Then he built the cab that literally just lifts off. The floor pan was, I believe, from a Mercedes 1838 or something, which, as you can see, had to be butchered and fitted and everything else. It does just, it just sits on. There's no real fittings, but you can pull the lorry with it. It kind of hooks in at the back. I did have to lower it a bit. It's sitting high now, but it sat even higher before. So I did have to lower it a little bit. And then obviously the back is just a normal box. I had the stickers made up from Screen Print Digital. If you can see it from that angle, the roof is curved, so I actually made a false roof out of valid sheet, bent it down the sides, which is secured through the normal screws that would hold the siding, and then a bit of styrene at the back to fill the gap, and a big sheet of styrene at the front to fill the gap. Apart from that, it's basically a 1850. It's just had a fair bit of work done to it. Like I say, but the normal top is there. This is just added on afterwards, just to, only because the model that I got had the curved roof, and I thought it would just look nice rather than flat to give it that curved roof. I still ain't got round to painting the lenses. I tell everyone else to do it and then I don't do it myself. But we get there. I can't secure the top because obviously I've had to take away the bit that they go into, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The door's shut, they're shut now. It works. I think it works. There's nothing special in it. It's got a standard ESC servo, that's about it. There's no major electrics, no computers, no sound, no lights. I didn't want to take anything away from the actual look. So, like I say, it was built because my dad drove one. And then I kind of got the bug, which then leads on to the next one. Right, number 2 in the build series. I absolutely love this truck. So, comma. Again, something my dad used to drive. When I was when I was born, this is what his job he used to do. Deliver coal. So it came around for the same reason, really. I had some photos, old photos of an old comma. We was chatting one day, me and Michael, and I said to him about any chance you could make one of these. Oh, again, I'll have a go, but I'm not sure. So modest for someone with so much skill. And then this is what come of it. So he built the cab. Again, it's on just an 1850 chassis that I've had to adapt slightly. I've made the back checker plates too big, but I can live with that bit. Right, coal is black fish tank gravel. Just looks the part in the sacks. Although it's fallen out of one of them. I have to find that. Sacks are made from actual Hessian cloth, I guess you'd call it. Just stitched into the sacks. Yeah. It is, you can see what it is what it is. It's surprising how bloody heavy it is. That side, I don't know if you can see it, let's come a bit closer. So I had to make a box because I needed somewhere for a battery. So the battery just sits in there. Plug comes out the side, plugs the other side, goes onto it. Air tanks, again from the little air canister things you get, just cut the back off. I was bored one day, so I made a little battery and a battery box just to fill in the gap. There's the coal sacks. My dad worked for a company called J.E. Harvey and Sons, and their livery, or the way that it was all painted, was pretty much the same as that, but obviously I've named it after my dad, C.W. Sparks and Sons, but pretty much the same thing. Like I say, he drove a comma, this is a comma, so that's how that one come about. Little trick I done with this one. It's going to be hard to show, but I don't know if you can actually spot it. So you can see the hooks underneath. Well, this bit of alley here, I drilled a hole and also filed a channel. So a bit of metal sits in the channel the other side, comes through the hole and then curves round, and then stuck this on. So these hooks are permanent, they can't come off, because you'd have to pull the whole of that alley strip off. And as you can see, it's all tied up with dolly knots, how it would be tied up. Actually I've tied it more because they used to just go around the back, they wouldn't go around every line like I have. Then the empty sacks on the back, take them back, fill them up for the next load. So yeah, that is that one, and the story of that one. Just notice that back bumper's a bit bent. Why it's a bit bent, I have no idea. But it adds character. Again, no major electrics, it's just got a standard ESC and a steering servo. It does the job. Right, so I'm going to put you back up here. So that's the story of the comma. Now we go on to the next one. Alright, so now the third one in the series. Because by now we both got the bug. He was enjoying making different cabs. I kept giving him ideas. So this is a Foden S21, or a Mickey Mouse Foden. The idea behind this is what my granddad used to drive many years ago. It's made in two parts, so bottom bit all stays on there. Just Slides on and sits there. Simple design, but very, very effective. I just made it on a, just a 4x2, I think it's an MAN 4x2 chassis. Made up a little lever for the fifth wheel because I didn't want the big plate and everything. Since which you can now buy levers for the fifth wheel, but I just made that out of styrene, does the job. Some very old looking backlights which I haven't got a clue what they're from or where they come from, but they do the job. Fuel tank is the same as the fuel tank I made for, what did I make it for? I was on something the other day, was it the fuel tanker? But this one fitting with this, I just sprayed it black and used a couple of King Auler brackets, just screwed into, put some nuts on the inside before I put the end caps on, and then just screwed it onto the chassis. It's effective, it does the job. And somewhere down there, I actually built a trailer especially to go on the back of it, which I will show you now because I have to move the next lorry for this video anyway. Right, there's a trailer to go with it. Done the front a little different. Obviously cut the hole and then covered it in coffee stirrers, front and back, so it looks like a wooden headboard rather than that steel plate. I think looks quite effective. And then obviously, I don't know if this table's going to be long enough. There you go. Not quite long enough, but yeah, there you go. Which I think works pretty well. Which then takes me on to the next build. Right, so part 4. There is no real backstory to this. This build come about because Michael Crooks said to me one day, oh, I've got a nice AEC stroke Leyland cab that I don't want anymore. Are you interested? So I went, yeah, of course I am. So I bought the cab off him. Can't remember what colour it was now. I'll have to look that one up. I might, if I can look it up and remember, I'll put a little down here, but it wasn't that. So I got it pretty much not long after I finished the last one, the Foden, and I thought that would look nice as another railway truck. It's a bit long for the cab, but I don't care. I like the way it's come out. It looks the part to me. It is long, but that was down to the back. I wanted to buy, they had a shorter back. Well, they sell a shorter back, but when I wanted it I couldn't find one. So I bought this one, which is the same back was on the black Mercedes, but I've cut the thing off the back. I've cut it down to a more reasonable height, otherwise it would have been up here somewhere. It'd look a bit stupid. Sacks are just full of bits of actual stone, and these are what's it called? Gel stuff. moisture gel. You know when you get these, where is it? I had it just now. You know when you get these silica gel, that's the one. Silica gel packs. But at work we use loads of it, and it's all loose. And obviously it just goes in the bin. So I just bought some home just to fill the sacks up, because they just something different. It looks different. So some have got actual gravel in, crushed gravel, and some have got silica gel. It starts really orangey colour, but when it gets moisture it goes all, well, there's all different colours there. So that was that. The little fuel tank, because again I wanted the bigger one and couldn't get it at the time, so the little fuel tank is a Lisu tank. The battery box is from KK Truck Store. The chassis is basically two chassis, I think, if I remember right. Can't quite see, but I'm pretty sure it is two chassis. The back, I've had to add a bit on the back underneath because I wanted to put this big bloody trailer hitch on it. For no other reason than I had the trailer hitch and it was sitting on this bloody table for ages thinking, what am I going to put it on? And it just, when I was building this, I thought, oh, it'd go nicely on there. But in here it was too high and so I just knocked up a little thing underneath for it to sit on. I don't know if you can actually see it in there. Spare wheel holder is also from KK Truck Store. This bed is a Lisu. Lisu? L-E-S-U? I don't know why I keep saying Lisu. It's L-E-S-U. Stop saying Lisu. This box is a L-E-S-U, which has got all the bloody electrics in. So the speed controller, the receiver. There is also a little cheap sand thing in here, with a speaker just on the back there. Again, I think because I had it laying around, I thought I'd use it. That's pretty much it. That's a Verona, one of the bloody expensive Verona beacons. But yeah, that's the story behind that. Is literally, he offered me the cab, and I thought you'd have to be an idiot to say no, so I said yes and bought it, and there you go. So that's the story behind that. So that's the 4. Now for the +1. Right, so the 5th one in the series. This is not really a build from me, because Michael Crooks built this whole lorry. I have added to it, which I will tell you about in a minute, but again, he had 2 lorries to sell, 2 tippers. This one, and there was another one, obviously. And me and Tim, he offered them to me and Tim, and we jumped at the chance. And I wanted this, because as soon as I saw it, I thought, I know what I'm going to do with it. When I was a lot younger, not long after I started work, well, when I started work, a place I used to work, was builders merchants, and St Albans Sand and Gravel used to bring in the sand and ballast all the time. So as soon as he showed me a picture, which I can't remember what colour it was, but I thought, I know exactly what I'm doing with it. So literally just seeing a picture of the cab, I knew exactly what this lorry was going to turn into. So we drove up to near Peterborough to meet him. Had a nice day actually. Between Christmas and New Year. Tim got his tipper, I got my tipper. Come back and started working on it straight away, pretty much. And I actually got the approval from him that I'd done a good job, which meant a lot. It is a tipper, it does work. So what I did, I sprayed it orange, done the graphics for the front, done the graphics for the grille, because it was just all orange. Just thought that added a bit of detail. Put the lines round for the doors. Done the Leyland sign. Put the fuel tank on. The other day I was talking about them round tanks. I also had some box section that I'd done a tank, because it's a round tank on here wouldn't look right. It's got to be square to go in with the period. So hence why that one was made. It's bloody absolutely rotten, as everything else is in this bloody shed. Again, I hung the spare wheel, which is the same as the last lorry. It's from KK Truck Store, I believe, pretty sure. On this side, I added this box, which has nothing in it. It's just, again, I don't like big gaps. It don't look right when there's big gaps, so I put a box on that you would put whatever in. And I also made this battery box with the batteries, added some bits of wire to look like leads and bits of crap, and you know what I mean. Give you a closer look at that. If it focuses. So yeah, that's our like I say, I'm taking very little credit for this, like this much credit out of this much, because I just added a couple of bits. I must admit, I did enjoy making these batteries, weirdly, and it has been pointed out to me on occasion that, oh, looks like Lego blocks. It wasn't, but that's something to keep in future, that it does look like Lego blocks. But it was fun just sitting making them, and the cradle and everything, just to go in there, just to fill that gap. Serves no other purpose. So that was the 5. Again, a bit of the styrene rod. There's a CB antenna. So all I really done to this was added this, added that, painted it, added the one the other side, the fuel tank. That's pretty much it. Like I say, he did, when he see the pictures, he did contact me and say he was happy with what I'd done with it. It looked good, and that meant a lot actually, coming from him. So that's 5 special builds, 4 of which was collaborations from myself and Mr. Michael Crooks, a very, very talented person. So I hope you enjoyed this one, because I enjoyed making this one. It brought back a few memories of some very, very nice lorries. So I'll see you on the next one.